G'day guys, welcome to Digital Combat Simulator. This is the brand new release today, UH-1H HUEY. This is my first flight of it, and you're going to see how I do. I can say right at the very beginning, just completed my first flight. I am blown away. This is freaking awesome. So I've done the training for a cold start about 2 or 3 times just to get the basics on, as you can see here, the electrics and how to get it started. Every time I did, the rotor blew off for about the first 3 times. The reason for that is because I think something was mapped to another axis. So if you're experiencing the same thing, go into the options and make sure that your collective or something, or maybe the cyclic, isn't bound to a couple of devices. Now that annoying alarm there is the rotor RPM, so at this point I actually didn't know how to turn it off, but I will at some point. So just going through the startup, you can see I think the lighting effects are actually changed. They seem different to a previous patch, but I haven't read anything about that, so I'm not sure if it was make-believe or what, but yeah, so just having a look around the cabin, you can see there's some awesome detail, and I think this is the first time I've actually seen crew members in the same aircraft. Now the trick with starting the helicopter here is 40 seconds, so it reads, so you've got a little clock that you can keep an eye on. At 15% exhaust something, the rotor is supposed to start turning. It tends to turn a little bit later, and in one of the training missions I aborted the engine start, and this was when the collective must have been maxed out or something was wrong with the cyclic the binding, and the helicopter lurched over, rolled over and exploded, which if you want to experience something pretty funny, you should give that a go. So I think I've stopped holding down the engine start, and it's just basically picking up now, which is a good thing to see. It's turning on what I think are some lights, but I don't actually notice any lights really turning on, so I don't know what I was actually flicking there. So that's good. The RPM is ticking up, and I swear these are different bump mapping or textures or something that's going on with the textures on the ground out there. It's like I keep thinking the lighting is different, but in any case it looks very nice. So at this point I'm actually hitting page up, which is kind of like Black Shark, and I think about getting the RPM on the engines kind of turned up. Maybe not yet, but pretty soon. There we go. There's the RPM alarm silence. That was something I was quite happy that I actually found. Alright, so switching off some starter bits and pieces. Kind of reading things and guessing and trying to remember exactly how it works. So yeah, by all means do the full training course. I've just done at this point the cold start training, so here we are, turning on the radios, and the beacon automatic direction finder. There's one of the radios. I don't bother actually using the radio at all, but hey, why not? So what I kind of noticed here is that the textures and the models and everything, it's very similar to Eagle Dynamics quality. I actually thought this looked about as good as you can get for the modeling and the texture detail. It's absolutely amazing. So there we go, the RPM is coming up now, not before, and you can really hear the sound start thumping. I have no idea why that autopilot mode is being listed on the right side. It just turned itself on at the beginning of the mission, and I don't know how to turn it off, so I'm just going to kind of ignore that that's there. I'm not using any autopilot in this flight. I wouldn't really know what that does. So there I try to turn on the alarm for low RPM again, but it looks like it's flicked on automatically and it wants to stay on, so that's a good thing. You don't need to worry about turning it back on like I read that you would have to, but never mind. Alright, so I'm just increasing the collective a little bit. You can see that the hover tendency in the center of balance when you've got to hold the controls is quite a bit different to what I'm used to, and welcome to an air hover taxi. And I don't really want to go this fast, but I don't have any choice because I'm not really in very good control of the situation. You're about to see some pretty awesome pilot-induced oscillations where you enter a little bit of control for what you want and you get too much, and so you correct and that's too much, and then you correct and that's too much, and you go, there we go, back, no, too much, forward, no, too much, back, and but it feels really nimble, like I'm putting in a very small amount of control. So I think similar to other modules of DCS, you could actually you could enter some curves into the axes and you'll probably find this a little bit more controllable. It feels amazing though, like you can just kind of see you know, it actually feels like I'm really flying the HUEY, which I was probably at this point I was blown away. I was like, well, I thought this would kind of be like something I'd buy because I support the DCS franchise and the third party guys, so you know, I'll put the money down and buy it, why not? And if I fly it a few times, then good, and if we have a couple of nights where we do something different and fly HUEYs or something like that, then sure. But this is awesome. This is so much fun, and it is, you know, Eagle Dynamics DCS quality. Of course it is missing any kind of electronic warfare, like it's got no computers or advanced weaponry or anything like that, so it's a good first start for a third party. They can get the basics right, but the quality is just freaking cool. Okay, so I've managed to follow the white line to the runway, check the runway's clear while I pretend to. I can't really keep my eye off where I'm going. And you can see that there's a bit of turbulence as we're getting caught in our own rotor wash with the translational lift, and watch this. We kind of move forward a little bit, boom! I don't know if that was a bug or that was us entering the fresh air into our rotor wash and getting a whole lot more lift, but that seemed like everyone would have had everyone would have lost their lunch with that massive lift there. I didn't touch anything in the collective to actually gain that altitude, so I don't know if that's something that needs to be tweaked, but I am way up in the air now, and it's a lot better than slamming straight to the ground, I guess. So I'm not too displeased. Yeah, so at this point I'm kind of trying to figure out coordinated flight, doing a pretty terrible job of it. The way that you set up your trim and your axes is totally different from that kind of the ground hover and the taxi kind of slow flight where you're in your own rotor wash. So I'll just looking to do a quick loop around town, and the best way to do that is kind of get down low and you know, do like helicopters do, a little bit of nap of the earth flight. So pretty soon I'll make make a descent here. You can see here we've got some fairly big vibrations going on with the airframe, and that was actually over speed, I think, if I had to guess. I actually pulled back on the collective, on the cyclic and collective to reduce my speed, and I think I keep it I think that says about 100 knots is kind of where I'm cruising at. If I go over that, I get some some vibrations going on, which were kind of troubling. I wasn't sure if I was about to overspeed and knock my rotor off. There it kind of comes back a little bit, just heading up over about 110 or something. Here's some low-level flight, just to see some ground clutter, get a bit of ground rush going, and those trees should be avoided, but I had that under control. And this is where you can see it is really fun. I mean, just beautiful aircraft to fly. The slow stuff around the airfield is a lot harder to control. Once you start sort of really cruising, you can keep it under control. You can see here, flying nice and low, popping up over the trees and the buildings. Yeah, the sound is great as well. Probably can't hear it with the stereo sound, but the surround sound here is very nice, very well done. Alright, and you can see you've got the crewman. I have no idea how to take over any machine guns or anything like that. I guess you set the autopilot mode there with level flight or whatever those controls are, and there must be a control where you can jump into a gunner seat or the loader's seat and fire off the side-mounted machine guns. That kind of sounds cool, I suppose. Honestly, I don't think I'd stand a chance. I think I'll get smashed out of the air by anything that's wanting to kill me. So here I'm trying to get back into a bit of a hover or a taxi to bring the aircraft down, and it's very tricky to control. I was actually kind of struggling to look for the vertical speed indicator, which is kind of an important instrument, and I think I find it, but you can see the trouble I'm having, and this is probably pilot skill, but it isn't beta, so anything that needs fixing will be fixed before it's obviously released. But I don't think there's any reason not to buy it given the quality that you see here, and if you are interested in the HUEY, then yeah, go for it. So I've got it into a bit of a hover. I think I've got it under control now. I've kind of moved to that different mode of flying where you're in your downwash and in the ground cushion, and I'm not going to go through the trauma of taxiing again, so I'll just put it down right here. And in that short flight, I gave myself a massive case of brain fatigue. I was exhausted. It was like, ugh. So bring the RPM down. You can hear the alarms gone off, and I can flick that up. Have a look here at the external views. It's very nice. Alright, so hopefully you found that interesting. Yeah, leave comments if you have any questions about this model, but it's available from Belsimtek.